Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Luffy's possible reward once the world government gets wind of his awakening, and what we could expect coming up in his next bounty. Little by little, the Straw Hats have gained fame around the world, and especially their captain. With his new powers, he has become one of the most powerful characters in this modern age. Now that he's managed to awaken a forbidden power, Luffy will become the target for many pirates and the world government as well, making his reward extremely high, to the point of making him the most wanted man in the world. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the new reward Luffy will get after Wano, and how his awakening will make him a target for the world government. Before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like, or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help us out in a bigger way, consider sharing the channel with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So friends, as we know, the bounty is given by the world government or the Marines, and it may actually be the Gorosei who are responsible for assigning the bounty to powerful pirates like the Yonko, or even pirates who help them leave their crew. The world government gives out these rewards for the capture of a pirate in an attempt to stop them faster and bring bounty hunters into the mix. Just think back to where our mossy-haired first mate came from, of course, because Zoro was originally known as the Pirate Hunter Zoro when we first met him at the very beginning of our story. But because of Luffy, Zoro ended up becoming a pirate. But so far, there haven't been many bounty hunters that we've seen other than Baroque works. So there's a possibility that there may be other very powerful hunters that may be after other world-renowned pirates. Currently, Luffy has a bounty of 1.5 billion berries, and along his journey, he's managed to acquire this bounty after defeating many enemies and challenging even the most powerful admirals and pirates. This courage has even made some of the Yonkos very angry with Luffy. I mean, not to the point of turning him into the world government. After all, the Yonko and the world government have no intention of allying themselves, but rather they want to defeat Luffy and kind of just make sure he's out of the way. Bounties are also issued with a statement saying that the pirate can be brought in dead or alive. But in some specific cases, such as Sanji's, because it said wanted only alive, because his family had great influence over the world government. After all, we know that Sanji's father, Vince Smoke Judge, was once a great scientist who worked alongside Vegapunk to come up with some of the most powerful inventions that the world has ever seen. So his knowledge has got to be respected with the world government. Now, just as there are cases where the world government rewards only those who bring the wanted in alive, there's also the possibility that there are rewards for when they're only brought in dead. In this case, it must be a very specific thing, and if they brought that into play, it could probably be only for the greatest of enemies. I mean, after all, not even the Yonkos, who are one of the biggest threats to the world, have ever been given that sign of wanted only dead. But Luffy may end up being the first pirate to obtain a reward in which they accept only when Luffy is brought in dead will they pay out the bounty. Because once the Gorosei and the world at large find out that Luffy has finally unlocked the powers of the sun god Nika, we know that this could be a big reason for the world government to take such an extreme measure. Because as we know, 800 years ago, there was a person called Joy Boy, and this mysterious being was considered a great savior. And this is due to the fact that Joy Boy may have possessed the fruit of the sun god Nika. Because of this power, the ancient kingdoms considered Joy Boy and his existence a threat, because Joy Boy's goals got in the way of their goals. As Joy Boy sought to help the people, freeing everyone else who could be happy, those that ended up forming the world government had a very different plan for the world at large. Of course, during the past, Joy Boy would have been able to utilize all the powers of the sun god fruit, making him many recognize this power, and making Joy Boy an extremely dangerous person to the world government. Because according to the world government and the Gorosei, the powers of this fruit are completely ridiculous. This is because the ability makes the user able to adapt their body in any way they wish and fight in any unlimited way. Because this power was considered a great threat by the ancient kings, the leaders who were to become considered as the Gorosei may have gone after Joy Boy and hatched a plan to find his fruit and kind of take it over. All of this, of course, is to keep other people from having the same goal as Joy Boy, so they chose to hide the real name of the fruit, and not only that, they tried to keep it in their possession so that nobody would actually eat it. But as we've seen, this plan did not work. After all, Luffy ate the fruit, quote-unquote accidentally, or maybe not, and recently has fully awakened this power. So this now makes Luffy a great threat, just as Joy Joy Boy was in the past. And this may be something that the world government wants to handle as quickly as possible, so as to not let Luffy fully realize everything he now has at his disposal. Unlike the Yonko, Luffy represents a direct threat to what the world government is trying to do. And even in his earlier parts of this story, he's shown that he can be a major pain to them in any other case. Because the Yonko really don't have a goal of trying to disrupt the overall plan of the world government, whereas Luffy has directly, or even indirectly, but because of his actions, always undermined what the world government is trying to do. But Luffy now has his plans directly linked to putting an end to the plans of the world nobles, and thus he will become the most wanted pirate in the world because of these future goals that may end up involving the world government, the Gorosei, or even Imusama. Because not only does this legendary fruit just give this user determination, it's gonna bring Luffy's destiny to more than just conquering the One Piece treasure. His life will now have an even greater motivation, and he's gonna end up following the same path as Joy Boy, seeking to possibly overthrow the world government, the Celestial Dragons, and maybe even come into conflict with the revolutionaries. But barring any kind of minor skirmishes or misunderstandings he might have with the revolutionaries, Luffy represents and possesses a power that's actually capable of taking down the world government. So I could see that it wouldn't take long for them to ally and bring their purposes along the same line. But because of the great danger Luffy now presents, he's gonna be the main target of many pirates and marines. Because not only is Luffy's reward gonna increase, but he now is someone who would make another person's career should they bring him down. And this bounty might come quickly because the Gorosei might want Luffy to die before he really gets to the full idea of what he's there to do and build up enough steam to get close, if not become successful at fulfilling Joy Boy's old goal. Of course, the greater the threat the world sees the pirate as, the greater the reward that is issued. And consider the faster the reward increases, the more powerful the pirate is considered. So pirates with a very large reward are equally as powerful. Of course, every time we've seen Luffy observe his bounty, he's always been happy because as his bounties increased, it's shown him getting closer and closer to that goal of becoming a great pirate so that he can fulfill his promise to Shanks. But if the world government goes so far as to say only dead on his bounty poster, this might make a whole different kind of view for Luffy and his friends. Because so far, we've seen that Luffy and his crew are really the only ones who actually fight against the world government directly. And ever since Enies Lobby and burning down the flag, they've always had some direct conflict with the world nobles. Now, although not everyone in the crew might get the same exact reward with Luffy, they also would become targets because of their captain. And so we might actually see the rewards of everyone on the crew increase because of the events in Wano. With the fall of 2 Yonkos, the reward of the crew and of the 3 supernovas also, so Law and Kid, would also get a bump because all of their powers would be recognized by the world government. The world government could also take advantage of the fact that Luffy just brought down Kaido to increase his bounty, to cover up for the fact that really why they were putting that bounty on him, because of his power as the Sun God. Earning a large bounty so quickly would also give him that notoriety and attention and a global reputation. If we just consider the fact that this most recent generation of pirates has been called the Supernova, it really kind of makes sense why they're blowing up the way they are. And of course, although Luffy is one of the pirates who managed to achieve this title, his reward will now far exceed any other pirate or supernova, and that could give him a very different reputation in the world. In addition to that bump in his reward, we could also see Luffy given the title of Yonko, because with that bringing down Kaido, and Kaido of course being one of the most feared pirates in the world, really the strongest creature in the world, it would only seem fitting that Luffy is the most rewarded pirate in the world. After that, Luffy would become the main focus of all the organizations, because he might now be seen as the one Roger was waiting for in the past to inherit the great One Piece, and to be even more destined for greatness beyond that. Truth matter is gonna be, the reason why Luffy is gonna be even more wanted is not for what he's done, but because what he might do with the world government. But for now, let us know what you think. What do you think the actual bounty is gonna be? Do you think that Luffy will get a bounty bigger than Roger's? Or do you think they'll still just keep him below? Let us know in the comments below. So as we bring our video to a close, I want to thank you so much for watching all the way up to the end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.